apologize for being 3 minutes late. We had some technical difficulties. I am your
Mm.
host, Jakira. This is the Modesty Testimony. And this is our sister, Elvira Valdez, our fellow sister in holiness. First things first, before all else, we give all glory and honor to our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, who
Amen.
is the head of both of our lives.
Yes.
This podcast is not for vainglory. This
No.
podcast is for encouragement. Okay. This podcast is for encouragement to uplift the brothers and sisters out there, those already in the faith, those coming in. And even if you aren't, this is for encouragement so you can see the hand of the Lord in our lives. The different guests that come on, I share my testimony first, and you can see the hand of the Lord in our lives, how he's delivered us out of the world and not only changed our outward appearance, but our hearts also. Let's make that
Yes.
very clear. We've been changed on
Yes.
the inside and on the outside, okay? So we
Yes.
had to say that first. And
Absolutely.
right, we
This his
had to make
podcast,
that
girl.
very
Let's
clear, very
glory.
clear, and say that first. I also wanted to throw in that sometimes, friends, family, or different people see us and they see the change on the outside. Some people may see the change on the inside if they've known you, but the people who may not really know you, or even if they do and they seen the outward change and even the
Mhm.
inside change, and they don't really know what happened to you, like what happened to her. So that would be the overall testimony of coming out of the world and into the faith, but this is a piece of that testimony, and it's the modesty testimony. So it's a piece of that testimony of the grand gesture of how the Lord graciously brought us out. So we have our
Oh
sister.
wow. See, you didn't
What
I didn't
happened?
know. I didn't know. Okay. I'm ready. I've been watching, but I don't know what I was thinking. Anyway, hi.
Hi. We have our sister Elvira here, my precious sister. She has a YouTube, she's a mom, she has a podcast also. She has a
Yes.
plethora of things that she does for the glory of God, and it's all so, so, so good. Okay,
Yeah.
and I am very excited to journey with you today, sis, on your modesty testimony.
Thank
So,
you. Thank
first,
you.
yes, absolutely. So, first things first, we want to talk about your past apparel. We want to keep it as clean as possible, of course. But I know you knew that. But we
Yeah.
want to talk about your past apparel and why. Your past apparel and why.
Oh, awesome. Well, thank you, Jakira, for having me. It's a pleasure to be here. And shout out to your community and everyone here. This is a beautiful podcast. I love that you're doing
Aw,
this, and I love your personality. It's perfect for it.
thank
So I
you.
just want
Thank
to say
you.
that, and thank you for allowing the Lord to be introduced first before we just start chatting it up.
Right.
Um, which is interesting because for me in the beginning or like prior to holiness, I still kind of dressed conservative. I wasn't one who, I didn't show too much, or, back in the day, I had a pick one. You showing legs, or you show, like, you didn't show everything at one time, right? And
Hmm.
even then, it was still with a classy twist on it,
Okay.
So in the past, and then another thing, I wore jeans all the time, pants,
Hmm.
jeans. I loved a good pair of jeans, Levi, whatever. So that was really my thing. I never wore dresses. I didn't wear skirts. I wasn't into that. And if I did, it was because I was going somewhere, or
Okay.
it may have been my birthday and I put on a nice dress. And even that, like, I look at the pictures, like deep cut and real short, hugged. I mean, I looked good, but I looked a little too good, So I would say my style overall was still conservative. I love to layer clothing. So I'm more of like a fall aesthetic type of person, got your cardigan with your shirt with this and that. Like I'm that type of guess we can call fashionista.
Okay.
I like to mix match. I like to put on a little couple of colors and they'd be like, "Oh, that don't I wouldn't have put that together, but it go together."
Right.
I'm that type of person.
Nice. So, what's the why behind your past apparel? Did you grow up, your parents like did they raise you introducing you to their style, or like journey us into that?
Yeah. Yeah, I had, my dad was very strict on what I wore. He didn't, because Um, my dad lived in Philly, my mom lived in the South, so they both had 2 different perspectives. So while my mom would buy me things like, cute little halter tops with the back out and stuff like that, when I went with my dad, I was not allowed to dress like that.
Mm,
So another thing, the reason why I was more conservative is because, the sexualization of women.
right.
I would feel so uncomfortable, being around men and they having like googly eyes or like trying to holler at you and, just looking at you subjectively, for the lust of their flesh.
Right.
And I didn't like that at all. I never liked that. So I would dress in a way where I wouldn't get attention because I didn't want it.
Right.
And I more so focused on my on my facial beauty than I ever did on my physical body, because another thing is that I'm 5'11" and I'm a chocolate sister.
You're right.
So, growing up in the South and being chocolate and being tall and you're taller than all of the boys, you're not really sought after. So it was like I became comfortable in my skin by just, wearing pants. And then, girl, the why is so real. Then I used to wear pants a lot because I would go down south to South Carolina and I would get eat up by the mosquitoes.
You're right.
And I would have girl, it was hideous. I would come back home with all of these black dots on my legs from the mosquito bites, and it made me so insecure. Now that I look back, it was an insecurity. So
Hmm.
I would never wear a dress, I would never wear a skirt, I would never wear shorts because I didn't want people to see my polka dot looking legs with all
Right.
of these insect bites. Girl, them mosquitoes used to tear me up.
Oh my goodness.
So that's my reason why, the scarring on the legs, and then later I developed eczema. So then I would wear clothes that will cover up that. So,
Okay.
coming into where I'm at now, it really wasn't that big of a shift, but it was. Emotionally, it was.
Okay, that's beautiful. Can you say when your mom did dress you, when you did wear some things that were revealing, did you start to get comfortable with that at some point? Because it was introduced to you. So did you start to get comfortable with that look?
Sometimes,
Okay.
yeah, in the summer, and then the older I got, the shorts and, a nice little, halter, we're a generation of Aaliyah. So like, how she
Right.
used to have like the halter with the oversized baggy clothes, like even though that was in the early 2000s for us, it was still
Mhm.
in the, what we call now an aesthetic.
Right.
So, yeah, I did, and then I knew, but see, this is the thing, I knew how to switch it up because I knew when I'm with my mom, she going and then when I go with my dad, Imma be looking like a little boy. Now I'm joking,
Yeah, he
but
wasn't gonna go for
no,
that.
he never did, but he would make sure, like, I was that kid with my dad where my dad wears like polos and slacks and like he would wear dress shoes to work every single day. So he always dressed very dapper, if we
Okay.
would put a word to it. So when he dressed me like a little princess debonair,
Mhm.
where I just had my shirt tucked in or I had on a windbreakers outfit. Like I always looked cute and age appropriate with both
Okay.
of my parents. Please, y'all don't get it crazy. Like if I
Right.
I did have a halter top, it was an age appropriate halter top, like where it was cute, and then we'll have like capris to go with it. But if
Yeah.
I went with my dad, he gonna put a shirt underneath that halter top, and you gonna wear them sandals, okay? So
Right. Dad wasn't
yeah,
gonna
in a
play
way I
games.
got comfortable, but the older I got, I still felt insecure. you
Yeah.
know, about my body. Like I said, I'm 5'11". So when I was in high school, I was tall, but I'm still proportioned, but I was slimmer.
Okay.
So I didn't have, like I said, I didn't have that desirability with men,
Mhm.
which I would say now, but not then, because I didn't look like the country girls with the cornbread fed aesthetic and stuff that they had. Okay. I looked like runway model, where's Tyra? Okay.
Can you say that the media at some point shaped your style?
Oh, for sure. For sure. Because I became an Abercrombie and Fitch girl. I became an Aeropostale girl. I was a Gap girl, a Old Navy girl. Like I was all of those little things, especially Hollister. So I would say that part as far as influence.
Mhm.
Because what we can't ignore is that in the early 2000s, those stores really did have it on lock. Like a lot of people were
Yeah.
shopping at the Aeropostales and the Hollisters and stuff. So their branding and marketing was right on point.
Yeah.
And then they were, you know, Aeropostale was always affordable. So that the media, as far as when it came to makeup for me,
Mhm.
absolutely. You know, I was under the belief that I couldn't leave the house without some type of makeup. You need some concealer, you need to do your eyebrows, and if all you can do is your eyebrows, concealer, and put on a mascara and a lip gloss, that's that's what you're gonna do every single day. You're never leaving the house unless you have that done, and put on a pair of earrings. So the culture, our Black culture teaches us that from very young ages, you know? So,
Yeah.
like, my experience with culture in general, I would say, yes, we gotta think about the videos that was coming out back then. You know,
Mhm.
the videos, the 2000 videos with, Hype Williams. And how I'm just saying, because I gotta paint the picture.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
the 2000s was an era where natural beauty was really in. So I felt like I needed to have me on a little bit of concealer and stuff like that. So yeah, it had a huge influence. It was subtle, but it was there.
It was
It was
there.
there.
It was definitely there for sure. Can you say, since you did grow up some Philly and then you grew up some down south, did your environment at all influence your style at some point?
Yeah.
So when you were in Philly, did you feel like you had to conform with the Philly, what was going on in Philly at the time, and then down south with the down south at the time? Let's talk about that.
Yeah. And Philly was always ahead, right?
Right.
So down south, the kids wasn't wearing like the Rocawear, the baby fats like that. They didn't get into that until maybe a year or two after I
Okay.
had came back from Philly with the Rocawears and the and the baby fats.
Right.
So, you know, there was a couple, but not many.
Okay.
But in Philly, it was more, I feel like this about Philly. Everybody has their own style, and,
Hmm.
like, it's always been like that. Like, no one it's trends, but everyone kinda just do what they want. And
Okay.
one thing I gotta give the Northerns, you guys can buy clothes at, like, a little bit, like, not expensive,
Hmm.
because you have so many stores and so many outlets, and then you can get stuff in bulk and all of these things. So,
Yeah.
like, you can go and get something in, wholesale, where down here we don't have that opportunity. So here, I would go shopping in the summer with my dad and then come here, and then, like, in the winter or whatever, my mom would get me jeans and stuff from the stores that I named earlier. So yeah, it was a different, growing up, I just always had to deal with two dualities, always, in all aspects. But yeah.
Okay, beautiful response. In your adulthood, in your adult days, did your friends influence your style? Did they play a part in why you dress the way you dress?
Nah, they were,
Good.
because all of my friends were, they had a sense of identity
Okay.
in high school, and I'm just going off of high school. At college, for sure not. Everybody in college is doing their own thing. Everybody think they grown, everybody doing what they want. But in high school, no, we wore what our parents could afford. And some of
Mm-hmm.
us, some people had more, some people had less, but you made it work. And the blessing for me is that I went to school in a small town.
Okay.
So it was at the time when I was there was only one high school. So there wasn't a lot of competition about who got on what. Everybody's parents was working the same type of job, doing the same type of work. So everybody was bringing home the same type of pay. Okay. So
Okay.
it wasn't a lot as far as like before we moved there, we lived in Durham. And Durham, North Carolina is a place where like, everybody parents gonna put them in the latest. And so I was kinda glad that I didn't have to go to high school out there because it's intense. So
Ooh.
going to high school in the country, nobody was really trying to be in competition with the other. It's either your mama and daddy could afford it or they couldn't, and everybody went on about their business, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So everybody was comfortable with being an individual wearing whatever, opposed to going to school in the city.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh,
Where
okay.
you follow the leader, whoever that may be.
Did social media ever make you feel pressure to show up a certain way?
Yeah, of
Let's talk about
course.
that. Let's talk about that.
Of course.
Let's
You have
talk
to.
about.
What? You're not perfect? You don't have perfect skin? What are you talking about?
Yes,
Yeah.
it
That
definitely.
in itself was the insecurity of why I was wearing makeup. Because though the skin was healthy skin,
Hmm.
it wasn't even skin.
Okay.
So I'm thinking I gotta be picture perfect every time. Yeah, your skin is smooth and it's clear of blemishes, but it's not even,
Oh,
So that um the women that men lust over, they can say all day long one thing, but the women they follow online, the women that, you go to someone and you see a page and the girl got on a bikini and her butt is out,
mm,
but she the one that you follow, she follow you, but it's like, but like and it makes you as a woman be like, okay, is this what they want?
right,
Because
right,
I'm straight, obviously. So I want to know what men want. And what they show us is the complete opposite of what they say. So I would say the biggest thing with social media is being a person who is looking at the outside world and seeing other people, what men want and what they follow, and then actually what they can afford to get in real life. So that made me look at myself differently. Social media also made me look at trying to be perfect, you know? And I'm like, dang, I don't have this, I don't have that. Or like I would feel like if it wasn't a picture perfect highlight reel, I can't post it.
right,
If I'm not in a perfect mindset or if I'm going through something, I shouldn't be online.
right,
And I was like, who made up these rules?
right.
I can do whatever I want to do, and I'm
That's
gonna do
right.
that. But no,
Hey,
all by the
hey.
permission of the Lord. But I just wanted to say, yeah, social media affected me as far as, beauty,
Hmm.
self-esteem, because I see, like I said, you have the Instagram models, you have
Right.
the girls who have like even the Jakira, even the everyday girls are
The
looking,
everyday girl.
it's looking like where we going? Like butt out, all out, everything out. It's weird. So it's yeah, insecurities there, and of course feeling like I have to show up and be perfect, and I have to have perfect skin. I have to say the perfect thing, and my life has to be perfect in order for me to post. And that's not true.
To even show up.
Yes.
To even show up with a square picture, I gotta go through all of this. To fuck, I'm telling you,
Thanks.
to
With a
show up with
square picture, I
just
gotta
one
go through.
square, Elvira, just one square.
Yeah, for
I have to
sure.
show up and go through this. So of course that would make us feel as females like we gotta compete with the everyday Instagram girl. Half
And
of
the
the
girls
time,
that look like me but still want to put on for Instagram.
half of the time it be Photoshop anyway and
Yes,
airbrushed.
yes, yes.
So we be competing with AI.
We be competing with AI, girl, things that's not real. Artificial intelligence. When I know this is what I look like in real life, honey, okay. I had to say that because it's so true. Because when you talk to men, they will say, "Oh, we don't want a woman with makeup. Oh, we want a woman that's covered up. Oh, we want a woman with natural hair." But what you follow, what you like, what you entertain is the complete opposite. And
Complete.
for women, that is completely confusing. Because if I don't want nobody, I'm not looking for it anyway. Like, I was about to say something, but I don't want to say that. But if you're not what I want, I'm not looking. I'm not gonna,
Right. Like why entertain what you're not interested in?
Amen.
So we're gonna transition over into the modesty testimony. If you are new to this podcast, we are sisters in Christ. We serve the Lord Jesus Christ, and our faith is holiness. Our faith
Hmm.
is holiness, okay? And we dress according to the scriptures. So, Elvira, how did you feel when you knew you had to pivot into holiness, into modest apparel? What happened?
Ooh. Uh, for one, listening to the pastor, Apostle Gino Jennings, and I was in a state of shock, right? So, just to quickly answer, I knew the women had to be covered, but I wasn't doing it because I didn't understand why.
Okay.
So I started when I wanted to get when I started watching Pastor online, and I would look and see all the women with their head covered. I said, "Oh." So then I started looking up videos of him talking about apparel, and I was like, "Oh," because I'm thinking to myself, so many different things. And he comes in hard, hitting hard, like he makes it so plain, it can kind of be intimidating, right? So when I realized that I couldn't wear jeans anymore, when I realized I couldn't wear the pants, and that's all I used to wear to work, and I worked in a prison. Okay. When I realized I had to cover my head all the time, and I had just maybe started my locks 2 years or 3 years before I came into holiness. So the length of them now, I couldn't wait for them to get longer so I could put them in different styles. But now I have to cover my head.
Hmm.
So initially I wasn't happy about it. I wasn't happy about it. And then I remember saying to my cousin, who's in holiness as well, I said, "What difference does it make if I'm wearing a skirt if my heart wants to wear jeans?" And he was like, "It doesn't make a difference." He was like, "Because your heart is with the jeans, but you showing up in the skirt." But over time, me continuing to show up in that skirt,
Hmm.
my heart started to change and appreciate me showing up in the skirt. And now that's all I have is skirts and dresses. And I love it. Like I feel so feminine,
Hmm.
and it's like, ooh, and then just the way I like to be like, just get on people's nerves sometimes. How people be looking at you like, what she got on? Yeah, what I got on. What do I got on? That holy walk.
That
So
is so
you,
funny.
yeah, people be looking at you, girl. You walking around, it's 80 degrees, and you got on a holy outfit, or, a modest outfit, and they looking at you, but I love it because I'm like, yeah, I'm covered up. I be at the pool, skirt on. Yep, I'm covered up in the pool, looking at me
Right.
crazy. So let me stop playing. But yeah, it was hard at first. It really was, and I didn't. I think I got baptized in June, and even in December of that year, I wanted to still wear my jeans. I missed wearing jeans. And I don't know if people ever testify and say that, but I did. I did.
That's a thing,
Yeah.
you know. That's definitely a thing, you know. That's what we've known, and that's all we've known. So, you know, to
Mhm.
change, it definitely is difficult. Um, it's not easy. We definitely, you know, aren't going to sugarcoat anything and just make it seem like, oh yeah, you know, everything. It's definitely difficult. It's definitely not easy. So that's a real thing. I've also missed my jeans too in the past. And it wasn't
Mhm.
even so much like jeans, it was like sweatpants. Like I was a sweatpants girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I went through that also. And with
Can't
the
wear your
help of God,
leggings
of
no more.
course. Yeah.
The leggings was a hard, like, it took me, Jakira, it took me a long time to let go of the leggings
Okay.
because I would go to the gym and I'm like, I'm not about to be in here with a skirt on. It's too hot. It's too much. It's like I was coming up with so many excuses. It was pathetic. Like I just didn't want to, I don't know. And then at the time, I'm new to holiness. So I'm not aware of the girlies and holiness that's the gym girls. And I didn't know none of that. Now, I'm glad because they give encouragement for
Yeah.
women to get in the gym with your skirt on, but I felt stupid. I felt embarrassed. And that's so sad, but I did. So the leggings was a very, very hard thing for me to let go of because I was going to the gym
Hmm.
and I was like, I don't even have a skirt for the gym. All my skirts are things for me to wear to church.
Hmm.
So that was the biggest thing. It probably a year of being in holiness, I finally was like, I don't wear leggings outside of the house.
Yeah.
And that's me being real. I'm not one of those people that said, "Oh, I threw everything away and I just changed up my look." Like, no, it took me a while to let them leggings go.
Hmm.
And like I said, I was conservative about it. I always made sure my shirt was oversized. I made sure that I didn't have my body looking to attract the wrong attention. But yeah, I used to wear leggings and an oversized t-shirt or go to the gym with, the leggings and the proper sweatshirt and stuff. Yeah,
Yeah. The gym attire. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So, what was your first step in your modest journey? Like, did you start throwing things away first? Did you start to buy new things first? What was your first step?
I bought dresses and skirts first, I believe, and head covering.
Okay.
And after that, I threw away all my pants. So let me see. I didn't throw my pants and my jeans and stuff away for a while. And I had just stopped wearing them.
Hmm.
And they were still in the closet. And one day I was watching Pastor and he was like, you know how he goes in and he was talking about women wearing pants. And I felt convicted. And I was like, okay. And I went in the closet and I put all the pants in a bag and, took them to the thrift store and left them there. It was hard to do that. And it was hard because I was in a relationship at the time and they said, I don't mind if you wear jeans. And I was like, I said, yeah, but God does, you know.
Okay.
And that's when I knew like this is gonna be hard.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's how it happened.
Awesome. So, what did your first purchase look like since you started to get dresses, skirts, and head coverings? What did your first purchase look like? Did you find it hard to find things?
No, I went on Shein
Right.
and I spent like 500 and something dollars on Shein. And so that's a lot. Okay. That's a lot. I just went, I got all the head coverings I could find. I got, see, my, mi- mind you, and I think this is important, I'm going through this solo.
Hmm.
I never been to a convocation. I didn't know people had YouTube channels. I wasn't following nobody on Instagram. It was like you all were like a part of a protection program and you only know who's there if you get in. It's like so I didn't know none of this existed.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking on the lines of I have to look like a Hebrew Israelite. Okay. So I'm getting all of the head ties that I have to wrap my whole head. I'm getting because I'm like, oh, none of my hair can show. I'm thinking that the attire that the women they dress, like I had to do that. I'm thinking that I could still wear my earrings and all of these things. So my big purchase from Shein was a lot. I got earrings, I got head coverings, I got my dresses, my skirts, cardigans. I just went crazy. I did. And I thank the Lord for that because Shein is fast fashion, but if you
Hmm.
take care of your things, they won't go bad so fast.
Right.
So, yeah, I bought a lot of different stuff. Flats, the heels was hard too, but we'll get into that later, I guess. I don't know. It was hard to let them go, girl. Them sandals, my mules, my my the wet. Now I never wore wedges, but I would have heels with the feet out,
Okay.
and I'm like, I can't even wear this.
So when you did start to, because I feel like for some of us in the beginning, like once we do get our things and get some stuff and everything like that, we probably go for the basics. Like that's what I did.
Mhm.
I went for more of the basics, so I could just have the clothes, so I could
Yeah.
just have the things. I went for just like the basic colors, solid colors, no prints yet, because I wanted to just have solids that I could wear daily and wash them until Lord will I build up my wardrobe. How did you start to find your style and holiness? Like how did you what inspiration helped you find you?
I would say I know myself. So like the way that I dress, like, mind you, the way that I was dressing in the world, though I was wearing pants and jewelry, it wasn't too far off from how I dress now. It's just that I had extra accessories and could wear pants or
Mm-hmm.
did wear pants. So the adjustment there wasn't hard,
Okay.
as far as like finding my style because I already could identify what type of fashion nista I was or am. And like I told you, I like wearing I like the quirky things. I like the cheetah print with the black shirt and some like cheetah print shoes,
Mm-hmm.
or I like the color blocking Air Maxes and then you put them on with like a basic skirt, but then your shirt is just like got all the colors in it.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, of course, I started off with the basics, but then as time goes on went on, I started adding in those colors. And cause see, I didn't know at some point people couldn't wear colors. I didn't know nothing about that. I didn't see no bylaws or nothing like that. So I didn't know there were specific, as far as like how to present yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm glad that I wasn't one who was like always wanted to wear like flamboyant things,
Yeah.
but I like colors, I like a
Mm-hmm.
good pink, I like a good orange and purple and lavender. So all of those things I just took from how I was, I guess you could say in the world and translated that into how I dress now. And I love it so much because I can be so fancy. And this is just a regular day where before I would feel insecure about being fancy because it's like, why you dressing like how is it? How do people say it? Um, you're when you're overdressed.
Yeah, overdressed.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
like
it. Yeah, yeah, like
overdressed.
you're overdressed and stuff. But now it's like this is how I show up, and my family is just like, here come Evie. Yeah.
That's funny.
Mhm.
Did you always feel confident in modesty?
Mm-mm. No, I still struggle today. I
That's
still
good.
struggle today because, like I said, people say one thing, but they do another. And, I've noticed that. So being in holiness, you're not walking into the store and having men look at you the way that you did before,
Yeah.
which is a beautiful thing because it comes
Absolutely.
with respect,
Mhm.
right? But when you grow up in a culture and you're used to getting attention, like I said, my attention came once I hit my 20s and then 30s. So I'm used to getting the attention. And once I started dressing modestly, I wasn't getting that attention anymore. And I didn't like that because it made me feel like, dang, I can't, like, what am I going to wear? And then over time, God kept dealing with me. And no, the men weren't trying to get to know me on that, like, try to holler, I guess you can just say to make it
Mhm.
plain. But they were opening doors. They
Yeah.
were saying, hey, they were being respectful. They would, let me go in front of them in the line and stuff. So it started to come with a grace and elegance and respect from men.
Mhm.
And I'm being real, that was an adjustment. It wasn't something that I was 100% okay about because I didn't know another way. And I talked to my cousin about it. I was like, you already married, so it doesn't matter. You're not single. I'm single. How is a guy gonna like he don't know nothing. It's just yeah, and I had all of these worldly conversations and thoughts about my appearance and how that was going to look for at with a guy, and God just kept dealing with me. And the more he dealt with me, the better I became and confident. It was like, girl, please, if he don't like you, then bye. He ain't the one.
That's right.
So and then again, I do want to testify that when I was in the world, I was what some people may consider boy crazy, wanting a relationship, wanting to be in a committed relationship and stuff like that.
Mhm.
So that took some time for me to transition out of. So there were a lot of moments, if you guys are listening, where I keep bringing up a man's perspective and how I felt and how it made me feel because of where my mindset was at that time.
Mhm.
So, yeah, girl, that it was hard. And it was hard because I wasn't getting the attention that I was getting before.
Okay. But let's touch on the fact you said something really beautiful about when show up in modesty and when you're dressing, in modest apparel, the respect. And, it's like, let's open the door for her. Hold on a minute. Like, the respect level
Is
is
there.
so beautiful. It's night and day of what we're used to, the
Mhm.
respect level. Let's talk about that.
It
Like
is.
how that clean, modest,
They respect you.
she gets treated differently. And even the brothers, when,
Mhm.
when the brothers show up, and, because this podcast is not only for women, it's for the brothers also. When the brothers show up and they're in their modest apparel, it's like, a man is coming through.
Yeah.
It's a different level of respect. How does that feel?
It feels so, like you said, beautiful.
Yeah.
And because I am tall, I'm people are gonna look. But then when you're tall and you're modestly dressed and you speak well, it's a completely different atmosphere. It's a whole nother world out there
Yeah.
that I would have never known without God. So yeah, it feels good, sis. And
Yeah.
I'm so glad God kept dealing with me because he was showing me self-love throughout the whole
Hmm.
process. And now, once you start loving yourself, that radiates. People can feel that.
Yeah.
And you know how we both be like, girl, you glowing. I'm
Right.
glowing.
Yeah.
That's that self-love because you're taking time out for yourself. So it feels amazing, sis. It's a very beautiful experience, and it encourages me that if it be the Lord's will, and I have a daughter, how to instill that into
Hmm.
her early, not to just tell her, oh, because we're in holiness, we do this. No, it's not just because of that. It's an internal thing, and it's about self love. And yes, we do this to honor God, but you also have to love yourself in order to for you to do that. And so it gives me a lot of encouragement because
Yeah.
at first I was a little, like I said, I was a little insecure because I'm like, ain't nobody gonna be looking at me. And I'll be like, now they look and they just smile out of
Right.
like they admire, and then it's someone said, oh, you look like you're married. And I was
Wow.
like, no, but thank you. The thank you. So I guess you could say it looks like a kept woman.
A kept woman, a clean woman, okay?
Yes.
A woman that's showing up about something. Like, hold on. Because today, it's like, thank God for modesty, because modesty, like, it's just, if I can say the word, scarce. It's like everybody is following the trends, and we once did too. That's exactly why
Yeah.
this is the
Yeah.
modesty testimony, because God is the reason why we're on this side in the first place. We once did the same thing, and it's like now it's so clean. It's like people,
Yeah.
they marvel, like they marvel. A woman, her head is covered, and she's in a long dress or a long skirt, and she's covered, and they can't do all of, and it's like, wow, the respect that comes with it is so clean. It's
Yeah.
just beautiful in today's day. It's really something. And
Yeah.
this is with no makeup, no nothing, to still be able to show up and not only get that respect from the world, that they see you and they want to open the door for you, but for you to have your head up
Mhm.
with confidence
Yeah.
without all
That's
the extra things that we once cling to. I love
mhm.
that. I
Yeah,
thank
that's
God so much for
beautiful.
that. I
Yeah.
thank God so much for that.
Yeah, it's needed. And it comes you that realization comes right when it's needed. Like right
Hmm.
you like when that switch happened, you're like, "Oh, this is way better. This is the better
Right.
side of life." Yeah.
Let's talk about how it cuts down on the get ready time, okay?
Oh, girl, yes. I don't have to sit and do eyebrows and I know I said girl, as you can see, because that's my third time mentioning eyebrows, but eyebrows used to be my thing. Like I had to make sure my eyebrows were done. And that was a good 30 minutes, okay? So yeah, it cuts down on so much
Oh
time.
my goodness.
It
That might
does.
have been one of the first things I noticed. I'm like, I get ready like this. It ain't much to it at all. I'm
No,
like,
no.
man, I be ready.
I know your husband be happy.
Girl, he is happy. I be ready so fast. It's like I'm just as quick as him now. It's like, cause before the man will be ready first and he waiting
Mhm.
on you.
Yep,
And now
waiting
y'all
on
both
you.
ready at the same time.
Yep. Like, yep, I'm
It's
ready.
right. Oh my goodness. That is
Yes, girl.
hilarious. So, Elvira, we're
Uh-oh.
coming to a close shortly, guys. But
Yeah.
what would you say to a young sister just coming in the faith?
Ooh. Um,
She's just walking in. She didn't grow up modest. She's just coming in. She may have just gotten baptized and everything, and she's coming in for the first time. What would you tell her to encourage her?
mind your business.
Okay.
Mind your business. Um, pay attention and focus on your walk.
Yeah.
And I know I'm, joking, but uh, how can I say this? Though we are in holiness, we still live in the real world. And not everybody has come up to the things that they need to come up to in order to truly be holy. So, a new sister walking into holiness, I would say just mind your business, stick to the word, stick to the minister, grow some roots before you start. getting close with this one and that one. Just get some roots grown in the soil first, and then allow the Lord to keep working on you. Because I feel like that was the that was the foundation for me.
Hmm.
Before I met all of you, that word was in me.
Yeah.
And I wasn't looking at, well, what is Jakira wearing? Or what is this one wearing? I was looking at myself, and all I had was the word. And then
Yeah.
when I went to the temple, I still didn't know anybody, but I was looking at how they move. And I always testify. Was going to the Raleigh temple for over a year, and them people did not even know my name. They just knew that the tall brown skinned girl with the little boy,
Yeah.
because I came, I mind my business, and I
That's
went
it.
home.
Yeah.
And it's nothing wrong with fellowshipping. But when you first get into an environment, it's best to learn your environment. It's best to see how they move. That was another thing. How do we move in holiness? How do we conduct ourselves? Because the greeting was an adjustment for me. I'm used to saying, hey, hi, and they would say greetings. And I always felt pricked when they would do that to me. Cause I'm like, why you just can't say good morning back? Or why and it was just, I don't know why that pricked me, but now I can't stop saying greetings. I'll be texting greetings. So learning the learning the way. If you come into holiness through the First Church of our Lord Jesus Christ, I recommend reading the bylaws. Take your time, because you want to know what you can wear, what you cannot wear, what is considered modest, and find a temple that you can go to at least once a month, because you have to be in the temple at some point to get that experience, because it's nothing like, I've been homebound because I haven't had a car. No matter how much I watch Pastor online, it doesn't beat being in the temple.
Yeah.
And when I was going through depression last year around this time, I was forcing myself to go to the temple, and I was able to fight that depression because
Mhm.
I was able to be around the saints and be a part of prayer and praise and testimony and then the word. So that would be my advice, is, just mind your business, keep your focus on yourself, read the bylaws, go to a temple at least once a month. If you can go every weekend, every
Yeah.
Sunday, go.
For
But if you
sure.
live in a
Yeah.
place that you can't go all the time, make it your business to at least go once or something, because you need to be in the house of the Lord. Watching from home is amazing. You can get the Holy Ghost right from your living room, but you just it makes me emotional, because it is something about being in the same room with all of those brothers and sisters,
Yeah.
and we all believe the same thing,
It's
and
nothing
we
like it.
all serve the same God, and we all got the same baptism, most of us now. But we and it gets me, like, right now I feel like a little river in my stomach, because it makes me so emotional with joy, because
Mhm.
it's a feeling that you have to be there to get it.
Yeah.
And that's what keeps us going. So that's what I would say, girl. I don't want to be long-winded.
So with this new sister, where can she find clothes? Where should she go?
Whew. Uh,
We said Shein. Shein was a good place
yeah, Shein is a really good
to
start.
find some good things for a decent price.
Yeah, I love to do an Amazon purchase. I
Okay.
do like I go to the hair store for head wraps.
Okay.
I go to the hair store. Well, I don't have one by me, but for satin head wraps, I
Mhm.
go to the beauty supply. Or I might. There's been some I got from H&M. H&M is a good one.
Okay.
H&M and Zara. They
Okay,
have
Zara. Oh
really good
yes. Yeah,
skirts,
yeah.
and Zara is more of a their aesthetic is more like flowy, and so you can go there. Believe it or not, Adidas and Nike are now making skirts. So they have like these athletic skirts that are super cute. So you
Okay.
can go over there. And just whatever. This is what I did. One night I was bored and I just started typing in brands that I wear. And I just went to their skirt and dress
Third
section.
section, dress section.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Levi's, they have these beautiful jean skirts.
Nice.
Yeah, they do. They're really nice. They really are. They're big and I like I'm like, "Hi," so they're long and extra long. So yeah, I think that'll be a good start.
So, guys, that was everything.
That was
That
good.
was everything. I'm so glad you came on today. I'm
Oh,
so
thank
glad to
you.
have you, sister. It was nice. That was a breath of fresh air. Viewers, I hope you all love this and enjoy this. It's Sister Evie. We will catch you.
Yes, bye. Thank you so
Yeah.
much for having me, sister. I
Glory
appreciate
to
you.
God.
All right.
Absolutely. So, guys, that was the Modesty Testimony podcast, episode 3, with our lovely sister Elvira Valdez, who is also a sister in holiness. I hope you all enjoyed yourself this episode as always. I hope it was a breath of fresh air. I hope it was encouraging. I hope you guys grab some tips and I hope you all stay encouraged. Lord's will. We will catch you on the next podcast. Always, thank you for your love and support. Love you guys much, and peace be unto you.